Hello, everybody. Doing good, right on. All right, going live on TikTok now as well. All right, Elliot, TikTok is up and running, and YouTube is up and running. Don't you just love listening to me type bitty type bitty type? Hey, Sergio. All right. Let's see. We'll be going over today's trades, which there was a ton of, and the market. Hey, Blurry. How's it going? I'm looking for Pablo. Pablo, are you here? Thanks, Sergio. There are people far better than I. No worries. I definitely don't let it go to my head. Hello, Ori. How are you? All right. If you guys see Pablo, let him know I'm looking for him. Hey, Faraz. Tiger, yeah, maybe we will. But first, we're going to go over the market and then trade recaps. So we'll do that towards the middle of the program. If you guys see Pablo in here, any kind of Pablo pop up, let him know that he needs to send me a Discord private message because I don't know who the hell he is on our Discord. I don't know what his username is. You know, he could be like Peach Nibbles 424 or something. I have no idea. All right, cool. So, anywho, the market today really caught a lot of people off guard. But if you look at it, it's actually not worse than it was 2 days ago. It's actually better. So it's all about the expectations and relative to that. This red day right here is actually above the 20 moving average at this point. And if you were to draw a channel which kind of gave you the typical range of the market, it would probably go down to about the 50 moving average right here. So technically we're not even all the way down. We're not even pulled back much yet. So there could be like 1 or 2 more down days coming. Today felt like so abrupt, harsh, and strong just because everything was moving kind of pleasant for a while that you would have thought it was a crash, but it was nothing like that. It was a little tiny red bar. Not too bad at all. We'll go into how it looked on the day in just a second here. But in the grand scheme of things, we're still in an uptrend and making higher lows. So in the grand scheme of things, we're still doing just fine. Here, let me draw that out for you. We're making higher lows every single time we make a low and then go back up. At the moment, that higher low is right there, which is probably too high. It's probably going to get way down here. It has the room for that. It has that potential. But then at the same time, we've been making higher highs as well. So the market really isn't stopping. It's just getting so choppy while it rotates and clunks around and changes its whole kind of weighting and positioning. But in general, you know, things are looking on the up and up. And if they weren't, you'd see Chairman Powell do something crazy with the economy in quantitative easing land. But let's take a look at SPY, the market, S&P 500, on the intraday charts. You can kind of see what kind of hell we went through today. You guys over on TikTok land, if you click through the link in my bio, you can join our trading server. It's going to be open house tomorrow. So we'd love to have you. We'll be live day trading all day from pre-market until the closing bell. So you can see that today the market started arranging. If you didn't know that the day was going to turn red on you, that was just a ranging day. Put in a top range, which went up from the previous range, and a bottom range. Basically a ranging day, and that's a sideways day. And on a sideways day, you want to be in things that go down and things that go up, because you don't know which way the market's gonna go. You want to have some puts on things that are going down, and you want to have some calls on things that are going up. And that may be the way that we have to trade until we're back into a locked-in bull market. Like I'm talking about this entire year. So you might as well get used to it now, getting an equal amount of things that are going down as puts and things that are going up as calls on the day, if that's how you trade. Because you need that as hedge in your portfolio, your trading portfolio, or however you have it worked out. I think Elliott Trades can hear him. John asks if you guys can hear me on TikTok. Can you guys hear me on TikTok? Say yes, right, yes. By the way, over on TikTok, if you want to ask a question, click the little question button there. Right on. Click the little question button there. And when you formulate your question like, hey, can you look at whatever? Or what do you think of whatever? That's meaningless. I need to know why you want me to look at it. You know, I heard a whisper tip that following blah, blah, blah. Can you check that out? Because, you know, what's it going to do over the next week? Something like that, you know. Don't just be like, check out, you know, Palantir, thoughts on Palantir. So everybody knows the drill on that. You know, you're going to have to tell me more why you want me to look at it, because otherwise I'm going to tell you to short the fuck out of it. So let me know which way we were trying to be good about it. Like, do you want me to look at it for going down, going up, short term, 1 day, intraday, overnight, a week swing trade, investing long term? What are we doing? All right. So back to SPY. So as you can see, it really took a plunge today when it broke the low. And I don't know if any of my traders in our group took the breakdown right there, but that would have probably been a great example of our trade where we get about a point per drop. So this one went from 391.2 down to 390.2. So it would have been textbook SPY panic drop right there. And then on the next break, right there, we would have gotten 391 to 390.1 to 389, actually even more, but it pulled up at 389.0, so even more than a point. So another textbook SPY panic drop play there for anyone who is looking to see if SPY was going to drop on the low of the day. Wouldn't have been good for the market, and definitely panicked everybody. However, I was playing mini positions that were short anyway, mini puts. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 positions that were in puts. And I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 positions that were in calls. And so to play the SPY would have been just adding risk to my to my situation, because if it went the other way, that wouldn't have been good. George Scott says a whisper tip from a guy. Okay, yeah, cool. I heard about that one. Yeah. Okay, we'll take a look at that. Oh, thanks, Matt. Thank you. Yeah, it really worked out. And we'll go over that in just a second here. Let's take a look at how the VIX played out on that drop. That drop was really sharp and steep and surprising, and so therefore it ought to have triggered the VIX to go up at that moment, and that's what we see. So back when the VIX was hitting 19 today, and even as low as 18.9, could have been a really great time for you to plant a little seed in your portfolio and get a 6-month call on the VIX at like 18 or 19 to protect you from crashes. That's what the VIX will do for you. So, the VIX in a huge crash like we had last year would go from, the teens, like 18, all the way up to 80. And so that means you'd make, $6,000-$7,000 on one call in a crash. So you have to figure, okay, that was a 35% crash last year. So if I have a $100,000 portfolio and it's going to experience a 35% drop, I'll be at $65,000. So how many calls do I need to buy on the VIX to protect the portfolio? And you need $35,000 worth, because that's how much you would lose, right? So you divide 35,000 by about 6,000, because that's how much you would make if it went from 18 to 80. And you get, I don't know, let's see, divided by 6,000 dollars of gain. That's how much protection you're going to need. You get 5.8, six VIX calls is what you need. And you can even mix those with far out of the money SPY puts. And those can even be verticals and paid for by selling far out of the money calls on SPY in combination with the VIX. So that's what people do to protect their portfolio in crash situations. If you're worrying about a crash coming, those are three, there's a few different ways you can protect your portfolio, but VIX calls and SPY puts are the most popular. And you just figure out what you would gain and you slap it on, so that if that happens and you lose 35% of your portfolio, it gets recompensated by SPY going up, your puts going way up in value. All right, so that's the VIX, and let's see. And then we had oil. Let's take a look at some of the other key components today. Oil was going pretty smooth until it, is that right? Hang on. There we go. So that's got to be why the market melted down today, was this huge drop in oil that it couldn't recover from. Although I think the market took a while to respond to that. Or probably not. We'll probably go back. We could take a look at 130. Is that when the market was going down? Let's see. I didn't notice that correlation. I just did what I did. Let's see. So now we're looking at SPY again. And no, the market broke down at 2:45, an hour and 15 minutes later. So it wasn't really because of oil dropping necessarily, but oil did drop at 1:30, about an hour before, about 45 minutes beforehand. And then that followed. XLE started to break down, and all the other sectors, industrials. So oil, and then what else? Rates all day. And for a quick swing, yeah, we'll check that out. Try asking in the little question mark button there. All right, so as you can see, rates today, as long as it doesn't pop weird on me right now, which it sometimes does, kind of channeled down all day. That should have sent the market upward, but it didn't, and that probably had to do with the fact that that oil was going down in conjunction with it. So you had two strong forces pulling it down. And J Powell and Yellen, yes. Okay, what did they say, Tyler? Because we were day trading the hell out of the market at that moment. What was the gist of it? So Tyler's got word on what we had happen today. And in the meantime, so let's take a look at some of our recaps. Well, today was pretty damn great. Will the stimulus checks have an impact on the banks' earnings releases? I'm sure that's already baked in. So anyway, I'll take a look at your question in a little bit. No, we did not play DLPN, and we were going after TCAT, and I think it was BCNT. But some of our members did play DLPN, yes. One of the things we did do, let's just take a look at TCAT. So it's a little bit hard to see on my graph, but we were able to take some TCAT breakouts this morning from 65 up to 70. And but then with the pullback on the next breakout at 70, it only went to 72, which doesn't seem, which seems like a lot, but it wasn't much. So the next breakout, we were really, really cautious at 72 on the third breakout. And I'm not even sure very many of our traders took that particular trade from 72 to 74. I think they did. So we did pretty good on that. But then after that, we did not take any more trades on TCAT as it basically crapped out for the rest of the day. But that was a momentum breakout trade. The other one we did was BCNT, but that was, what was it? It was not BNTC. Let me take a look at the pre-market radar. BNTC, that's it, BNTC. There we go. Okay, Tyler. Yep, same deal, same here. It was a crazy day. So we were looking at BNTC at the beginning of the day for a breakout of 8.51. It didn't come. We took it off radar. Looks like it decided to run and break out a little bit later in the day. 8.51 broke, and it ran all the way to 10.49. I didn't have it on radar at that point, so we didn't grab that one, but we just avoided BNTC. Yeah, there you go, Camille. Did you get in BNTC, Camille? And then let me take a look at DLPN because everyone was talking about it. Yeah, so that would not have presented any trades at all for us. We would have recognized right away that every breakout was leading to a fake out. And at most, we might have played some geometric pattern like a wedge and got in on the wedge bottom. But from the looks of it, it wouldn't have gone anywhere. So most of the gains that happened in after hours, we would not have been in. So it'd be interesting to see if anyone was in DLPN for whatever reason. During the day, nothing really happened. Well, okay, so it went from a $15 breakout to about $17 by the end of the day. And that's not really the kind of trades we're looking for. We're looking for things that'll double, triple, quadruple, 5x, 7x, in one wave or two waves. Crapped out and forgot about it. Yep. So, but here's a bunch of the trades that we did make that went really, really great. First of all, like I mentioned, we took about 15 puts, different stocks to the downside, and about 10 stocks to the upside. But mostly, as you can imagine on the day, mostly the puts to the downside paid off huge. But let's start with the calls to the upside. We did Zoom, We got in kind of late on a tip from one of our members that Zoom was running. And I do not remember exactly when we got in, but I know that I got out right here, right at 3:45:76. Here I am. Yes, Kelly was the one who told us. When did we get in, Kelly? I think it might have been on this little break right here at 3:43. It could have been this break at 3:41:47, I suppose. Four something. What do you mean? 3:40 something. Okay, good. Yeah. But in any event, we did gain a little bit on that hold, and that was the point of it. And really the bigger point is that we got out when it started to break down, and just close that trade out, and it didn't run any further on the day. Then also with Zoom, Kelly, you had one other one. I remember, if you were the guy that brought us, you brought us two, and we played both of those, I think. It was not Target. Oh, Netflix. Somebody brought us Netflix. And it was a similar situation. Let me pull that one up. That wasn't you. Okay, that's all right. Similar situation where Netflix seemed to be holding VWAP and doing good on the day. And I think we got in somewhere while it was holding VWAP around 538. And again, a very similar thing to Zoom. Got out at about 541 for a little bit of, for a couple points of gain with options. It was me. It was Timothy. Okay, cool. Then following that, I'm really going over the least gains first, but also we had actually with Netflix and Zoom, depending on when you got in or out, you may have just even broken even or lost a smidge. But that's irregardless, because we made so much money on the other place by hedging. XLE, we were also in that. Was it long or short? Yep, long. I'm gonna let this screen jump on me. It always does. Overall, I mean, XLE held green all day, even with oil sliding down there, starting at 145. But it did break down, and the point in which to get out based on that in oil would have been around 49. I don't remember when I got out, but I believe it was somewhere along that down slope right there. And so that was a negligible gain on that one. Okay, but now here's where it gets good. Also, we were in Coca-Cola for a little bit there, but when that crapped out, we got out of that as well. But the thing is, on the day, these were the stocks that were running for the first half of the day, and we were in those for upside, but simultaneously we had hedged with an equal amount of downside into the following. So if you got puts on these with us today, you did really, really well. And they were GE, which, as you can see, just went down all day long. And yet I only show a 15% gain on that. I think that probably we made a lot more than that. I just conservatively wrote down the gain as 15% in my recap, but I do believe it was much more than that. And then from there, oil, USO, oil. So we grabbed that oil drop. It's a good idea to pay attention to oil. Oil moves the entire market. So on this drop somewhere in here, I yelled, oil, get in USO puts. And so grab those, and those just continued to go down all day, playing the hedged put side of your portfolio or of your game. We also were in Mara, SOS, and Riot puts. We have a Mara and SOS call until June on, but in the day we can make money on the thing going down, and that helps compensate for the fact that our position that's longer also went down. So we're making the money back there. Mara, SOS, and Riot all went down, and we made between 20 and 30% on each of those. These gains are getting bigger and bigger. You just wait. And then we have Carnival Cruise Lines. I know this thing's gonna like, there we go. I should just leave it. That's like perfect. Nope, I didn't even touch it and it popped over like that. Look at that beauty. I mean, it just depends on when you got in. We got in a little bit late. I think we got in like around 11:30 in the morning at around 26, or it might have been a slightly earlier, but that just thing ran down all day. Perfect hedge. That was when I was looking for more downside hedges on my portfolio. And this is while SPY and the market was up. You know, that's exactly when I'm looking for downside hedges, things that are just running down all day. It's so easy to spot. Like if the market is just going up and up and there's particular sectors going up and up, and then you find something just going down all day, I mean, what's going to change it? Like that's just a perfect hedge. So Carnival Cruise Lines. What would you say? You made a bunch of money on CCL, held it all day. Oh, sweet. Can't wait to hear about that. And then Boeing. Boeing, I noticed, was doing poorly right out of the gate. So we got in that early. Oh, by the way, on CCL, I put in 34% gains. I think we did better than that. Daryl, what kind of gains did you get on CCL? I think we did better than, what did I put? 34%. Yeah, about 40%, he said. Okay, good. And then Boeing, even better, 68% gains on that. We picked that up right here when it started to really head down towards the low of the day that it had made on its range, and then formed that sort of cup and handle or little bear flag, whatever you would like to call that, breakdown all day, 247 all the way to 240. And that was 68% gains. All right, and we're working our way up. And XLU, now you're thinking, oh man, they made so much money because they made so much money because they got puts and the market went down. Number one, dickhead. The first half of this day, I'm talking to myself. Whoever is, I'm just like arguing with some other version of myself who's a dickhead on the other side of the table right now. And he's telling me that. But number one, dickhead, the market was green until 145 when oil dropped. And then after that, around 2:45 minutes later after that, we had the chairman remarks, and then the market started to drop and turn red. So no, you're absolutely wrong. You're absolutely wrong, dickhead. And if you look at this, Boeing was just going down all day. So it isn't just about, oh, he had puts, that's why he made so much money today. Because look, here's something that we made even more money on. XLU utilities today ran up all day. And we had calls on that. And we recognized that right in the morning, right over here, when it started to break out to the upside. And we grabbed those for all day. And whew, what did we get on that? XLU, I got more than 71%, but I wrote down 71%. So that was absolutely a fantastic upside hedge, if you want to call it that. And it even held pretty well during the market drop, but I sold once it started to break down right here. I was watching it really carefully while the market was going down, for whatever you want to call that, panicking. And I was like, all right, well, if my XLU starts to drop to the downside, that'll be exactly when I cut it. And that's about exactly when I cut my XLU for 71% gains. And then we also did get Deere, the factory, the tractor maker, for the downside. Got that when it broke right here. So 365 all the way down to 356. And we got puts on those, an equal weighted amount of puts on Deere. And we got 78% on that. Target, we got to the upside. Can't quite remember when our entrance was, but I could definitely tell you our exit was right here at 190. And we did around 79% on that. And then one of my own trades, don't know if any of our members followed it, was Elan, ELAN, which just fell all day as well. 95% on that. And then the big whopper, here we go. Who knows what it is? Let's see if anybody remembers. TripAdvisor. Ran down yesterday, ran down today, all day long. That was another one. So, that was a nice diversified set of downside plays. And that really wasn't all of them. I didn't just go through 15 downside plays and 10 upside plays, but those were the best of them. And that was a 301% gain on TripAdvisor. So super duper. Oh, hey, can someone trade your strategy passively, or is it for active day traders? This particular strategy with hedging and taking calls on things that are going up, most assuredly, and things that are going down most assuredly, regardless of how the market moves. I would call it like day swinging, something like that. It's kind of like, you hold it all day until it finally reverses on you. But it's a little bit active. Yeah. So I understand that you might want to try something like that. But the nice thing is that it's not quite like day trading, like going in for zigzag and then getting out after the rally or on a pullback or something and being in for a few minutes, 5 or 15 minutes, or maybe 45 minutes. This one, these were all day, basically hedges on the portfolio, just like whoosh, got your calls, got your puts. And over on TikTok land, I'll even show you on the other screen here, I have things organized by what I'm into the downside and what I'm into the upside. And the screen has 32 symbols on it, so you can't see them all. And then somebody asks, are you setting stops or all manual? It's all manual because they're options trades, and they don't have to be options trades. They can be, stock shares, but by using options trades, you do have the added benefit of when you're closing them, you can close them as a vertical, which will allow you to avoid the pattern day trader rule. In other words, it won't count as a day trade. So that's kind of cool. In other words, I placed, for example, today, what does it say here? I placed 59 orders and got 79 fills. And I'm in and out of positions, and I didn't use a single day trade. So that's kind of a cool little trick, and you can learn that tomorrow. By the way, you guys, we're having open house in our trading server, and I'll be trading all day from 30 minutes pre-market all the way to the close of the market. And so you're welcome to come join us. That's free. It's our open house. You'll be able to check out all our different channels and snoop into the discords. Somebody says, what? Verticals are not day trades? Well, I'll teach you more about that sometime, Tyler. Verticals can be day trades, but what I do is a little bit of something that's kind of crafty. And that's what options are. They're just tools. Options are just tools. And depending on how a person wants to use them, they can use them in a certain way. And there's a way to use them to get around the day trading rule. It has its own smaller risks associated. They're very small, but in general, I think you would enjoy it more than being so restricted by the pattern day trading rule. But think of it this way. I'll give you an easy answer for options level 2. Let's say you're in a position, in an option position, going on calls, going long. The thing goes up, but now you want to sell, but you don't want to waste a day trade. I mean, you could just buy an equal amount of puts. I mean, that requires more capital. It's not quite options level 3, but you could buy puts at the same strike, and that would just lock it up. And then tomorrow, you can, sell both of those, and you'll have today's profits tomorrow. But what I do is a next level from there. All right, so cool. Let's take a look at what you guys want to take a look at. I'm going to start by some of the questions here. And what happened to your guys' chat? There it is. Okay. All right, cool. Uh, let's see. I will, Gawain. Nobody reminds me during the day, so we still haven't done it. And I'm not going to do it tomorrow, but maybe Thursday. If somebody can just give me a message during the day, I will do a lesson on that. Deer is at the bottom end of the channel. That is right. I was looking at that today and saying, I think maybe in one more day or 2 more days, we might have an entry on Deer. If we look very close, you can see that usually Deer is a good buy when it's poked through the 20 moving average by a candle's length, and we're not quite there yet, but we're very close. And then I'd like to make an entrance when a green candle breaks a red candle high. So I'd be waiting for that. So I hope that tomorrow we'll bring a small candle on Deer and put that in. And also we have Ethan Allen. That's another channeler with a very similar situation. Be very excellent to get into. Deer, what did you say? I was thinking similar one day. All right. And then, so let me see what kind of questions we have here. So you asked, well, the stimulus checks impact banks' ER reports, earnings release reports. I mean, to the extent that banks will be making more money from people because of inflation, because of the money expansion that happened because of the stimulus checks. Yes, because they'll be able to lend things out at higher rates and they'll be able to get that differential, lend money out at higher rates. So yeah, you'll probably see that in banks, but that's already happened. You're already seeing banks go up. If you go to Bank of America, you're already seeing banks go up in the channel in concordance with rising rates. If I go over to rate, the 10-year yield, the 10-year yield is shooting through the roof, went up 300% in the last like 3 months. It's insane, from 0.5 all the way to 1.75 just the other day. So yeah, banks and lenders and creditors are going to do great, like Visa, Discover Card, Synchrony Financial Systems, MasterCard, and other companies which lend based on rates and also can borrow the money or create the money that they lend at cheap rates. Cheaper rates than the rates that they lend at. One of those types of companies is business development companies, BDCs. And they are one of the greatest trades right now going on during reflation of the economy. And there is a ETF that represents the top 29 BDCs. Those are business development companies. And that's BizD, and it gives a 10% royalty, a 10% dividend. And it's also going up in concordance with inflation. So you'll get capital appreciation and a 10% dividend. Who could ask for more? Thank God I sold my Carnival before this huge drop. I thought of keeping it. I guess that's what you're saying. Yeah, Joanna. Bitcoin stocks are making me nervous. Well, you can always sell your positions if you don't want to do the 3-month stimulus play on Mara, Riot, SOS, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. But I will say this, if you are worried about any of your positions, if you're anxious about them, it means you got too much of them. Like that's an actual, you have to listen to yourself, like your body and your emotions. It's your reptilian brain really that's doing it. You have 3 layers of brains. I'm not going to get into that right now, but your emotional side of yourself is telling you, hey, I'm really scared. I think you're taking more risks than I've ever seen you take in your life. It's going to manifest in your dreams. You're going to get dream symbologies telling you to try to that you're in danger, whatever those are, snakes, tidal waves, all kinds of dreams analogies will try to be telling you symbols. But basically, in the end, you need to listen to your damn emotional self and say, look, I am in this too big. I'm risking way too much. If this thing goes sour, I will not like it. And so that's something you have to listen to in yourself. And when those happen, that's how you know you need to scale back and that you got in too big. Listen to yourself. You actually know what levels of risk are good and bad for you, but you kind of got to listen to yourself. But anyway, BISD is doing good. But like as far as Bitcoin goes, let's take a look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is doing just fine. It's had pullbacks from 40 to 3,000 down to 29,000, and then just went on its merry way. And then 57,000 down to 45,000. And now we're at 62,000, pulling back to 54,000. And you really don't need to worry unless Bitcoin breaks a previous pivot high. So this is the point in which you need to worry. As a matter of fact, my charting software and some of the plugins that I use, what do you call them, indicators, show it as the purple lines here. Automatically knows the strong support and resistance levels. But I'll draw it for you. This pivot low right here is very important not to break. That is a higher low, just like this one and just like this one. The Bitcoin is making progress so long as it's making higher highs and higher lows, which so far it is 100% doing. At what point it stops doing that is when it will have to break one of those previous levels. That's the point in which you know that it's no longer making higher lows, and so it's semi-breaking down. The next point in which you would know that it's bad news bears is if it made a lower high. And so now that's a 3-point confirmation downtrend, but then it would need to make finally a lower low. And at that point, you'd know that Bitcoin was in a downtrend. So that's how these things reverse. They take time. But in the meantime, Bitcoin's doing great. It could pull back more. It could come back down to 50,000 and still be all right. And that would be a good point to buy. So if you can get Bitcoin at 50,000 in a couple of days, you probably could plant some more seeds in there. So SOS Mara and Riot, they're going to follow the same general trajectory and look about the same. So we don't need to go over those. So we did release our Crocs swing trade today because the market just smashed through our stop, which was at 75. But it's done that before, and every single time that resilient rubber shoe maker comes right on back, and Crocs has been one of the best swing trades that we keep putting on. But the last two, we did get stopped out. However, once we get a small little red candle down here and then a green candle the next day to come up over that high, we will completely enter and we'll do really good. Oh, good. Even some of you even average down. Pretty cool. I like it. Good job. Let's see. Another question from the TikTok. Thoughts on Rocket short term? It popped and then it faded today. Yeah. Was that today that we got in Rocket? I think it was. And then we just got out of it. Just didn't perform. So overall, Rocket, not seeing really any uptrend there. It looks real hyped up, and I don't really like the way that chart looks. I like nice, smooth, consistent charts like I was just showing you earlier, like that one. That's Ethan Allen, ETH. And then you go over to Rocket, and it's just, spike and then pull back and breakdown of pivot lows. And it's just, it's an emotional wreck. Will I be getting SafeMoon? A friend of mine made $400 in one day, said it was super complicated to get though. Yeah, that's exactly what I heard. And I don't know if I'm going to get it or not. Maybe I'll research it tonight and get some if I can figure it out. But, I make money on a lot of other stuff, so it's not that big of a deal for me. But, hey, if I end up missing some huge moonshot, I will be pissed off, of course. So I'll research it tonight and we'll see. Tesla, Volkswagen will both rise in the long term. You had a question about that. Opinion, Tesla, Volkswagen will both rise long term. Maybe, yeah, long term. Yeah, but in short term, I think at least Tesla, I know, is bearish. Tesla is bearish, as is some of the other ones that we wish weren't. But like Apple is bearish. So many, tech darlings are bearish. But what's not bearish is Facebook. Facebook has been on a monster run the last 2 weeks. And we actually were day trading that each of these days where it was on a monster run. And we've made a lot of money on that. 500 Tesla. Yeah, Kelly remembers. Let's take a look at it. Yeah. I mean, if it can't get up over, these previous pivot highs like 720, 730, 740, 745, right in there. If it can't get up and over that, it's still in a downtrend, a 4-point confirmed downtrend with next support levels at 500, 503, somewhere around there. Now from the group, I need to grab some, and then I need to check and see if we have any questions from YouTube. Okay, all right. And then going from the top here, TCAT 1.44, whisper tip from a guy who called TCAT 1.44, and now he's saying that LMFA is going to be a big move up. All right, let's take a look at it. Yeah, I don't know with these charts, but maybe it's going to pop. I mean, these charts are highly inconsistent. They're moving probably based on news hype and nothing of valuation. And so interesting, though, because if that guy called TCAT at $1.44, maybe he can call LMFA. It's going to be the next $45 popper. Let's see, other questions here. DLPN, yeah, we took a look at it. What do you think about YVR? I think it's like the AMC of GME, if that makes sense to anybody. It's kind of crap. Doesn't have the kind of range that you could get from TCAT. TCAT, wow. TCAT's really the GME, and YVR is like an AMC. Maybe YVR goes from AMC, went from like 13 to 20. Let's take a look at AMC, for example. 20. AMC topped out at 20, and maybe if you got in at 5, you got a 4X result, right? But now we look at TCAT, certainly started popping right around here. We made money on it around 5, and now it's at, it hit 75. So 75 divided by 5, that is 15x, 1,500% growth. So YVR is like the AAMC to GME is to TCAT. You made $190 on Zoom today. All right, way to go. Scalped Riot for $200. Okay, way to go. All I remember is Evan was printing money, and the market was the cucumber. That's hilarious. That was Faraz. Faraz was scared when industrials had just a little blip, and like a cat when it sees a cucumber, he was like, "Oh!" and got all out of his position. Meanwhile, a couple minutes later, it was back where it started and continuing even more. For puts, do you need the amount in the account for 100 shares, or is that for selling puts? So for puts, they're just like calls. You buy them and hold them, except they're just, puts are in the down direction. You don't sell them to start the position in them like you would like stock. You don't sell short. You don't have to borrow stock or money or have a margin account to sell short like you do with stock shares. With puts, you can just buy puts. You only need option level 2 for that. Technically, you can even get it with option level 1, but with option level 2, you can buy puts. They're not naked. Well, they are called naked puts, but they're not. You're not selling them. You don't need margin for them. The risk is their cost. So if they're $150 to get a put, that's the maximum you could lose. You can make an infinite amount, they say. I've never heard of anybody making an huge amount, but I've made 2,700% on Facebook calls before, and I probably have a couple other big ones like that. So anyway, yeah, puts are easy. You should learn them and have them in your repertoire of things that you need to do, especially this year, which could chop sideways. There was a big report today saying that this market could just be choppy for the rest of the year. And if that's the case, you want to do what I did today, what we did today, what we've been doing for the last many days, which is getting an equal number of puts as you get calls every day, so that you have downside that you're betting on and upside that you're betting on. And they need to be just different things, not correlated or anti-correlated either. They need to be their own independent runner in each direction. Like TripAdvisor just running down was not correlated with Zoom going up today. And yet I had both, and both of those, by the way, were moving in their directions, irregardless of how the market was moving. So they were very independent. That's the best way to do that, is to find independently moving stocks in those directions. And it's not easy. You want to try to get stocks that are going to continue to go down all day. Like the other day, that was Visa, because it had a Department of Justice report on it. You want to look at how it's under VWAP and how it's struggling to try to get back up. If it can't quite get back up and it keeps breaking down, you can see that in the first 45 minutes of the market, maybe first hour of the market. Then you can grab it and you can get it. You can put it on your portfolio, hedge it out. That's called hedging. You can put that hedge on downside. Basically, you're making money on downside. And then when the market were to drop, it makes it worse for that guy, for that stock. And then you make more money. So you have a sensitivity to market downside when you put on puts. And then your calls have a sensitivity to market upside. They get assist. It's like an assist. Let's see what else we have here. Yo, Tim, you think, blah, blah, 3 month chart. I will, Kawane, do the video on that. I don't have that limited advising your account holder. Dear. Okay. A riot keeps me up at night. I know the plan is holding until June, but yeah, there you go, Ryan. Hopefully you heard what I said earlier. If your nerves, and anxious about it, and that's exactly, look, he just said exactly what I was saying. Isn't that funny? I didn't even read that comment until just now. And what was I saying? I'm talking about you're going to have bad dreams. You're going to have the whole thing. It's going to manifest. That's his. Listen to yourself, Ryan. Listen to yourself. It's not my trade. It's your trade. It's not my money. It's your money. Manage your risk to the level that you like to risk. Everyone has a different level of risk. We all actually probably have similar levels of risk. They're just different proportions, if that makes any sense. So, or it could be that you don't even realize how much risk you're at. But you do. You can see it happening. You get used to understanding, whether or not stocks are, gold or lava, and you want to, sometimes if you can hold the gold long enough, it turns to lava. You don't want that, right? Bad. Can you please take a look at YVR? I got in yesterday afternoon at 391 when it wedged after its first run. It ran again. I sold half my position. I sold half my position in pre-market this morning, sold another quarter at 719 this morning, and holding my last quarter. Is the last candle on a daily chart a bearish candle? Should I sell in the pre-market, or can it continue based on the 1 minute candle? All right. So as I have told people many times before, once the stock has become unhinged from previous candles, and that's what happened today, you no longer want to hold overnight. So, but you're okay because you sold 75% of your position and you got a quarter left. And so that's not bad. You're in an okay spot. And truth be told, we don't know if it's going to go up or down tomorrow morning or in the market. Very hard to say now that it's become unhinged. Once a stock becomes unhinged, it becomes unswingable and it becomes only day tradable. And so I always tell people who are like freaking out with FOMO or greed that you're not going to miss anything if you wake up at 4 a.m. and trade it until 9 p.m. or 8 p.m., whatever it is. The entire pre-market, market, and after hours, you don't have to miss any of it. But for God's sakes, at the end of the market, at the end of the day, close the position. Do not hold overnight unhinged stocks because they can experience really dramatic drops. Like you could lose 40 to 60, even 80% of your money overnight. So you don't hold unhinged stocks overnight. Always close them out. Only day trade unhinged stocks. And so, like again, if you feel like that sucks and you want to try to hold it because you think it's going to pop or whatever, and you want that, my advice to you is don't hold it and just wake up at 4 a.m. and start trading it in the morning if that's what you think is going to happen. Only day trade unhinged moments in stocks. It may become hinged again. It may come back down and start to coagulate with more candles next to each other, and then you can kind of swing trade it and start holding it overnight. Right now, not a good idea. So be careful. Right. I think that's right. Can you look at Micron? I am long. I was thinking that it will go back up after seeing the other big red candles followed by up days. Well, semiconductors had a good day the other day, right? But I guess not Micron. Let's zoom out a little bit and see what kind of channel it might be in, if any. Yeah, it's in a channel, but it's getting, the volatility is increasing at the top. So that's topping action. You kind of got to think of that as like when two oceans merge or when two rivers merge, they create a lot of turbulence. It was a river, and then it's now being met with a lot of resistance, and so it's doing a lot of bouncing, and you're getting a lot of topping, and it has in fact put in a double top up here. Did it just drop? Yeah. It hit the same point twice. That is a sign that it's having trouble getting back any higher, and that it may start a descent. Stocks go through four phases. You need to know when it's over, right? So far we have higher lows and higher highs happening. But that changed right here when it could not make a higher high. You should have went on red alert at that point and said to yourself, oh crap, well, certainly if it breaks this lower low, I'm going to get the hell out because it's probably going to go down from there. But you're also in a region where it failed to make a higher high. So why be greedy while you lose your money? And why not just sell, up there when it failed to make the higher high and started to pull back? And then if you were wrong and it starts to go back up, you could get back in on the break of that high, because that would be a confirmation that it's now going to be running towards higher highs. So a lot of people don't realize that you can leave a position and get back in if you are wrong, that it's a good idea to take the risk off the table when things get risky. And then you could always put it back on if you were wrong. People are afraid to be wrong. That's why they don't sell, because they're afraid to be wrong. But it's fucking commission free. You can get out for free and then get right back in when you realize you were wrong for free. So why not just double check, get out? Maybe it was a good decision to get out, watch the thing plummet to all hell, and then thank you, lucky stars, you did get out, and then you can put that money on something else. I mean, it's just good trading. These are little tips. You're going to have to get over these things to be a consistent, profitable trader. You have to take your profits. You can't just hold until it's glaringly obvious that you should have sold. You should sell when it was obvious that you should have taken profits. That's where you want to get. All right, next question. Okay, we already did that one. All right. Tyler says there was a crazy call option pricing on Root call debit spread. Yeah, I don't know. Didn't see that. I don't know about that. All right, going down the list still. Oh, we have some questions from the YouTube. Yeah, we already did look at DLPN, I believe, yes. Which do you more emphasize when forecasting your picks? Ratios or patterns? I think by ratios, he might be meaning like Fibonacci or retracements, or patterns. Price action. I would say that price action and then some of the larger patterns to inform that are how I put more emphasis on everything. Price action. Nothing can beat price action. Price action is right in front of your face. An indicator cannot beat the timing on price action. Although you can use an indicator to get a sense for if maybe there's a divergence going in the price action. Like up here, you have this two highs that didn't make a higher high. So you should see roughly equal volume. Well, we are seeing that. So there's no divergence there. No divergence there. So that means that probably is a double top. Certainly doesn't have any bullishness going for it. And then you can use like MACD and RSI to get a little bit of extra information on that. But basically, I use price action to trade with and the moving averages. So I can see here that during this whole run up, the 50 moving average, which is this orange one here, never was broken. But today it got broken. But you have to attribute that a little bit to the fact that the market had gone freaky. So you need to give it some padding just because that was probably a market-related drop more than a Micron semiconductor company related drop. It was not necessarily indicative of them as a company. So anyway, my point there is that Micron's still in play, still possibly can continue to run. And we are getting near the end of the show, so I think I will switch over to, there's a lot of questions, not too many, I guess. There's a lot of questions still left, but we're going to switch over to see if anything ran an after hours. We did see a couple already, and we'll just double check that that's everything, so we can be prepared for them in the pre-market and in the morning. So HOFV did pop 95% possibly in after hours. I got to see this to believe it. Let's see. We've been talking about HOFV for a few days here. Oh, okay. Well, at the moment on the daily chart, it doesn't show that. Let's see on the 1 minute chart. Oh yeah, I can already see the after hour prices. Intel, really, for us. Interesting. That'll be cool. All right, let me get 2 days worth of time frame up here. It is? Then why is it not zooming out and showing me that? Okay, there we go. All right, so that's a really good after hours or pre-market pattern, however you would like to label it. We basically have a bullish leg gone up and then only retraced about 10%. Went up, broke another high. So now we're making a higher high. Another high. It did come down about 70%, but overall it's still holding that huge bullish run, and then broke and made an even higher high. So HOFV, we'll have to see how it is in the morning. By market open tomorrow, this one could be really hot. So this is related to the DLPN. Okay, very cool. Thank you. And that's the other one that's up a lot is DLPN. So let's take a look at that. I think we just did a little bit earlier, but we'll take another look. So tomorrow that'll be in play, likely. We'll see how it is in pre-market. All right, it went from 17 to 24 with very little pullback. That's excellent. Up to 27 with a bit of pullback, but then it did break a new high all the way up to 31, and it's ended at about a 50% retrace of that last leg. Very bullish. So DLPN and HOFV, very bullish. Got to check. Okay, got it. Yeah, for us, I figured that out. You need to Chevy Intel before you head. Yeah. All right, let's take out Intel. Intel's not even on the chart here. It's only up 6.6%. All right, that's a little, it's a little gain. We'll see how it does tomorrow with that, and then we'll possibly get calls on it if it continues. But also we have Apto. There you go. DK was just asking for us to check out Apto. Apto closed at 3.7 and then had a bullish push all the way up to 4.7 with about 40% retrace. That's still bullish. Broke new highs, very bullish, all the way up to 5.47. Held a low pullback of about 40% again and broke another high. So actually we're seeing some pretty good after hours trends there. By tomorrow, these will probably activate even a few others. So I'm thinking that probably tomorrow morning we may have between 3 and 6 actual huge runner potentials for the day. Still far short of some of the really, really hot days about a month ago where we had 20 in one day. And I had to like update my entire setup so we could watch 20 symbols at the same time. But all right, tomorrow is open house. We'll be live day trading all day. So make sure you click the link in the bio and join us all day tomorrow. Free live day trading from before the market opens through the entire day until the market closes. And I'll be guiding you through every little opportunity we can find, and we can help tell each other what opportunities there are so we can try and leave no stone unturned and kick the market's ass. All right, who's with me? Click the link in my bio. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you in the morning. All right. Good night, guys. Thank you, Sergio.